Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. We are at KubeCon EU. I have with me Kalyan, CEO of founder of DataCebo. Kalyan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about DataCebo?
Thanks. Hi, I'm Kalyan Veeramachaneni. I'm the co-founder and CEO of DataCebo. We enable enterprises with our product to build generative models on their data. We call it the third kind of data. So not images, not text. It's the classical structured tabular data sets, or sometimes it's not even tables. So they build generative models from that and generate synthetic data from it that looks and resembles the real data, but is not real data. And that can stand in for a variety of uses, including one of the major use cases we're finding is testing software applications that are data driven.
Great, Kalyan. Now, you threw in a lot of terms here. Let me parse it out. And also, I want to make sure that for the audience, we are not just saying something for the sake of saying AI, right? Now,
Yeah.
if I heard you correctly, you used the word generative AI for using generative AI for generating synthetic data, right? Now, it's all Gen AI right now. Everybody's talking about AI. We watched in the KubeCon conference today, and even the last conference and then this conference, there's a lot of momentum about AI. But how old is DataCebo, and when did you get started, and how did you get started?
Great. We started as an open source project out of my lab at MIT. It was called the Synthetic Data Vault. And we built like a lot of generative models at that time between 2016 and 2020 to address this kind of data set, just tabular multi-table data sets. And that open source project had been, had taken off. It has 1 million plus downloads. Lots of people use it. Lots of developers use it. Build models. And at some point, we started realizing that this has a lot of commercial traction as well. A lot of banks and a lot of financial institutions were using them to do POCs, the open source, and they started asking that we have more complexity in our data set. Can these algorithms be updated to the complex data sources and complex data structures? So then we started the product development in 2020, started DataCebo and launched our SDV Enterprise. So SDV is the short form of the Synthetic Data Vault, and we started SDV Enterprise and launched in last December.
Awesome. Now, you said MIT, and then we'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
I heard you said SDV. You started in 2020, and then the enterprise version was launched in December. Can you tell us a little bit?
Yes, 2023
December. Yeah, just few months ago. Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit more about SDV Enterprise, and also where are you on the funding? What state of funding round are you your company at?
We raised a seed round of 8.5 million.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And SDV Enterprise that we launched has very sort of enterprise focus on how to build models, which includes very complicated data structures. And enterprise data is extremely complex, as anyone knows. Everyone we talk to has at least 20, if not more than that, like 100 or sometimes even 500 tables. And they would like to be able to model that complex data using one generative model. So what that means is the algorithms have to work and the modeling techniques have to work by traversing the tables, across the tables, finding those connections between the data points and building correlations across the table, so not just one table. And once you get into that realm, that space of multiple tables, you will have complex structures like bridge schemas or star schemas, a variety of schemas as well. And now the modeling technique, generative modeling technique, has to work for all these.
Yes.
So SDV Enterprise has all those functionalities and features to enable enterprise to build models for those complex data structures. The second thing it does is once you're in an enterprise setting, your data types, there's so many of them. In open source and in academic settings or scientific settings, you're just like numerical or categorical.
Sure.
In enterprises, you have phone numbers, emails, addresses, like they're recording a whole bunch of data. One way to do that is to just create fake synthetic data. There's a popular library called Faker. You can just create fake data. What we do is we try to build a generative model that encapsulates the context or pulls out the context from the data. Contextual synthesizing that I was mentioning, and it pulls out the context and then models it with the rest of the data. And then when you sample the context and then recreate the original data type, like phone number or what have you. So there's a lot of functionalities like that we have incorporated in SDV Enterprise that addresses, that's solely designed to address enterprise data
Got it.
patterns.
Now, you were repeatedly stressing on the structured data part.
Mhm.
Now, I have two questions on that. One, how did you land upon this one, right? And then also between 2020 and now, we're also seeing unstructured data and other forms of data getting increasingly used by the enterprises, right? So, please share your thoughts on, in general, what are your thoughts on the data growth among all these type of data forms and the growth rate of synthetic data, like in terms of what you see, what you anticipate in the market. But before we get started, like how did you narrow down on structured data, like to begin with?
I think structured data is structured data or semi-structured. So it could be log files or it could be anything. It's one of the biggest untapped data that AI hasn't tapped into. A lot of AI we hear about is images and text. But at MIT, when I was working in my lab, a lot of data that we were working with companies, it was all structured. It was all business data. It was all the data that they were capturing from interactions that their customers were having with them, with their products or with them or with their services. And that actually has a lot of business value and in it that needs to be pulled out. So as a result, we saw that that's where we need to build the generative models. We actually selfishly started this project because one of the things that when we were doing predictive AI, not generative AI at MIT, one of the things we got stuck all the time was trying to get access to data.
Okay.
So then we thought it used to take a couple of months to get access to data.
Yeah.
So then we decided, well, what if we gave somebody a
Yeah.
generative modeling technique?
Okay.
And if they build a model and they can give us synthetic data, and we can use that to build models.
Okay.
So that's how this whole idea started. And since then we have evolved into something bigger and generalizable and a horizontal platform for any type of structured or semi-structured data.
Got it. And what kind of models do you are in the background?
We use probabilistic graphical models. So in open source, there's a lot of neural network models that we popularized, invented, and are used. In the SDV enterprise, we use probabilistic graphical models. They are fast, they're cheap. We build some specific algorithms around them so that they can work with the complex data structures, and they are like the difference between the enterprise and open source is like what takes 27 hours to build model, it takes 3 minutes to build an SDV enterprise. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, tell us a little bit more about like where are you finding a little bit of use case success, like what kind of industries you're finding more success, what kind of use cases that you're seeing among your customers. Just a little bit more about that.
One of the biggest use cases in success that we are finding is testing applications, software applications. Any Global 2000 has 1,000 plus applications, some small, some big, but they're gravitated towards having smaller applications and have team centered around managing and maintaining those applications. All these applications become data-driven, so they need a lot of logic. They have a lot of data-driven logic, and they need a lot of data to test that. And that has been a really good sweet spot for a use case. Even within that use case, testing software applications, performance testing is day one value. Like it's just immediate value because they can generate from generative models as much as data as they want.
And which industry would you say, like top
Financial industry and insurance industry.
Okay.
So
Got
a lot
it.
of clients there.
Wonderful. And then any geo specific, like are you finding more success in US, Europe, or any specific geos that have show more love to you, more to your company? Sorry.
Yeah, Europe and US, yeah.
Okay.
Europe and US right now because there's a lot of financial institutions and there's a lot of regulation in how the data should be managed.
Okay, got it. How large is the company, and what are your growth plans?
We are currently 14 people, and then hopefully we're going to get up to 20, 25.
Got it.
In the next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are your job postings listed on your site? If somebody's looking at it, how do they get hold of?
They are listed on our website as well as LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Very good. How can customers get access to SDV and SDV Enterprise?
So the first stop for most of our customers is to go and try our publicly available source, which was originally open source and now it's business source license. So they access that and we encourage them to use it, do a proof of concept, do an ROI, estimation of whether synthetic data can help them.
Okay.
Especially AI generated
Got it.
synthetic data.
And these are available on your site?
Yes. It's,
DataCebo.com?
Yes, datacebo.com and sdv.dev.
.dev. Okay, wonderful. And then how do they migrate or how do they upgrade to enterprise?
They reach out to us and they can sign up for a subscription.
Got it.
And they can get a.
Can you tell a little bit more about your pricing model or subscription model?
Yeah. We are pricing based on the number of columns that actually are going to be modeled.
Okay.
How much complexity they want to model, because as data goes more complex, they need more algorithms.
Okay.
And then second is the number of samples that they draw.
Got it.
And we have a pricing structure that we publish.
Thank you, Kalyan. And then we are running late of time. Would like to tell our audience something, as anything that you would like to convey to our audience?
Oh, well, it was nice meeting you. Yeah, try us out. Try us out at sdv.dev, synthetic data vault, and try us out and build generative models for your specific enterprise data.
Thank you, Kalyan. Thank you, audience. Thank you for tuning in. This is Sriram and Kalyan from KubeCon EU. Thank you for joining us today, Kalyan.
Thank you.
We think that you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There we go.
That's good. Yeah, it was very short though.